Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, January 21st, 2016. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Resolute in his stance to carry on their protest action despite warning from the police that persons should not picket within a 200-yard radius of the electoral office, opposition leader Annie Eustace says that it is ridiculous for demonstrators to follow that rule when there are government buildings almost in every 200-yard radius of the city. Eustace was speaking on the protest line today where there was a clash between the police and protesters.
Defying the Public Order Act, where the 200-yard radius is supposed.
If you have applied that, there is no place in Texas to go. There are many public buildings that are within the 200-yard limit. So what are we talking about? Huh? Finance complex just down there. Here you have this office thing. You go around the corner there, it's not a government building. You have the post office building. But you can't go anywhere, you can't protest anywhere in Simmons in Kingston. You have government buildings, you go by the Seventh Adventist Church, you have the Attorney General's office. You go down the road, you have the courthouse. So where are you going to? Where are you going to? Everything was in 200 yards.
Eustace says taking away the protesters' placards and pushing persons away from the electoral building is undermining democracy and the rights of persons to protest.
We are here for one reason. One reason. We believe with the way the elections have been handled in St. Vincent that there was a lot of corruption. But apart from that, this constant effort taking away people's placards, which they have a right to do and so on, is undermining our democracy. And we have to stand up for something. We have to stand up for something. People come here, nobody's causing any problem. Why are you? People are not causing any particular problem. Standing here yesterday, they took away placards and arrested people for that. Nobody didn't take away my placards today and I want to know why. These things should not happen. Should not happen. And we are not moving from here.
And speaking on the issue of the arrest of 6 demonstrators outside the electoral office yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves says that the protesters continue to defy the Public Order Act. On a radio program this morning, PM Gonsalves explains protesters were removed from in front of the area because persons were asking for the parking space. He says that the protesters were in breach of the 200-yard radius rule away from a ministerial building and were removed by law enforcement officers.
Persons were asking for the parking spaces, and in any event the police thought that they'd asked the protesters to go to the far end of that block. And lo and behold, on Monday the persons who were protesting didn't follow as required by the Public Order Act instructions of the police. And they came right in front of the Supervisor of Elections office because the barriers were removed. And you would have heard or seen releases by the police or comments by the Commissioner to one media or the other, and I don't want to repeat those.
PM Gonsalves, who is also Minister of National Security, pointed out that the protesters were being noisy in front of the commercial space and have been hurling remarks to the Supervisor of Elections, Sylvia Findlay. He praised the police for showing incredible restraint in the handling of the protesters.
I mean, there was, again, intimidation and harassment and a simple threatening, and you can't, how can people in their offices, not just the electoral office, but the immigration and people walking about the business to do business, how could they on an ongoing basis have this noise and the harassment and the threatening on an ongoing basis? The police have shown remarkable restraint.
Yes.
And on Monday afternoon at around 4:30, when the
And the 4 protesters who were arrested and charged yesterday for annoyance faced a court earlier today. Violet Jocelyn Hannibal of Victoria Village, Susan Duncan and Sheridan Davis of Kingstown, along with Osborne Jack of Lever Gardens, are accused of assembling together outside the precincts of the electoral office with intent to carry out a common purpose, to wit, disruption of the operation of the electoral office, to commit a breach of the peace. Having been granted station bail, they all appeared before Senior Magistrate Carla James today and maintained their innocence. The matter has been adjourned to February 22nd, 2016. Meanwhile, one of the 4 protesters who was charged with annoyance was slapped with an additional charge to which he pleaded guilty in court today. Osborne Jack, a resident of Lever Garden, was charged for having in his possession an offensive weapon, being an imitation firearm, to which he pleaded guilty. Jack was placed on a bond for 6 months in the sum of $500. If he breaches the bond, the sum becomes payable immediately. In default, a 2 months jail term will be imposed. When delivering the facts, the court prosecutor Constable Shamrock Peer told the court that on Wednesday, January 20th, 2015, Jack was involved in a protest at Upper Bay Street outside the electoral office, behaving in an aggressive manner. The police who were on duty on the scene became suspicious and carried out a search on a sack he was carrying, which led to the discovery of the imitation firearm. And today, a larger number of persons joined the picket line and defiantly stood their ground despite a heavy police presence. Yesterday, the opposition leader Anne M. Eustace made a call for persons to come in their numbers to show their disdain for what he described as harassment by police officers of persons who have been protesting the results of the December 9th, 2015 general elections. Some of the protesters who were arrested and charged yesterday were also back on the picket line today, where Grenadian journalist Hamlet Mark was arrested on suspicion of committing the offense of obstruction and had his video camera and phone taken away from him. Our news team took the opportunity to speak with some of the protesters who were on the picket line today.
In St. Grenadians, democracy is under an arrest, and we have to free it. And if we don't free our democracy, we will be in serious trouble.
From after 2 to after 7 yesterday, I have not been charged. So I want to know why the reason I was down there sitting down for no purpose, no reason at all. And I'm here today to protest for my rights, my freedom and my democracy. And I want a fresh and a new and a clean election. And justice must prevail. It's in Vincent and the Grenadines.
Just came, grabbed my hand. He says, "Miss, you're under arrest." And I had to get in the truck. I went to the station and sat there for maybe about 2 hours, right? And they did not charge me. But I was told that I shouldn't protest. I shouldn't be out here protesting. So yesterday they took away my placard. I have 2 today. And I have dressed for arrest. Okay, so I'm all ready if they arrest me. So I have 1 today in front and 1 in the back.
So dress for arrest, what that means?
Dressing for arrest, I have on my heavy boots, my old pants, and a white shirt. I'm ready for them. And my bottle of water.
So no charges have been brought against you?
No.
This picket right started as really as a demonstration against the election irregularities. But because of the injustice that has been meted out towards the demonstrators by these so-called authorities, it has gone way beyond what it originally started as.
The people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we had enough. It is too much victimization, too much taking advantage of poor people. It's the poor people that are coming out here and protesting, trying to instill fear in us. But tell them that the struggle goes on. The struggle continues. Power to the people.
Here now is a highlight of some of the action on the picket line today. SVG-TV news team also made attempts to speak with the supervisor of elections, but the deputy told our news team that no comments would be made. Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar says his ministry recognizes the important role that marketers play in the development of the agricultural sector. Hence, they will be providing them with the necessary support. Speaking at a conference earlier this week, Minister Caesar says marketers help to ensure a competitive price for agricultural products, which farmers benefit from so that they can cover production costs as well as making a profit. Caesar says his ministry is aware of a shortfall in human resource of marketers of agricultural products. He says his ministry will do its utmost to build their capacity.
The intention of the Ministry of Agriculture in 2016 to ensure that the requisite capacity building programs are put in place to facilitate training for marketers. We want to ensure that a cadre of young and enterprising marketers will be brought to the fore to seek new markets for produce and utilize modern technology to ensure that the marketing intelligence required to be competitive is at their fingertips.
The Agriculture Minister also highlighted the fact that 3 crop farmers have been suffering from declines in income generation due to several factors. According to him, his ministry has embarked on a rapid replanting program which makes plants available as well as free transportation of these plants to farmers.
Because we lost so many of these tree crops, we are seeing a diminishing of the income and the ability for farmers to make an income from tree crops in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we, recognizing this, we have noted that there is a need for a rapid replanting program. Of course, the government cannot just walk on, the Ministry of Agriculture cannot just walk on to John Jones's land and say, I am here to plant a breadfruit tree, or I'm here to plant a soursop tree. We are making all the plants available free of cost, and they are transported to your farm free of cost. And I really want farmers to utilize this opportunity because we have less than 10 days to go. There's a possibility, of course, that it can be extended.
He noted that the Farmer Support Company, the FSC, has had a positive impact on the agricultural sector, with some crops reporting a boost in production.
What has been the government's response? We have established the FSC, Farmers Support Company, and some 12 million EC dollars were budgeted to ensure that farmers can come up with the requisite capital to facilitate their production. We have seen over the last 2 years a significant increase in the production of agricultural commodities here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The Ministry of Tourism, in collaboration with the Garifuna Heritage Foundation, the International Airport Development Company and the SVG National Trust, will be introduced in the Cayo village this year, adjacent to the Argyle International Airport site, and they are planning to create other similar sites at Raboka. At a media conference earlier this week, Senior Tourism Officer Anil Beach said her ministry is collaborating with various stakeholders to rebuild some of the indigenous houses to create an authentic environment.
We constructed on approximately 21,741.27 square feet of land, and this is housed within a 3.6 acre sector which has been designated as a heritage site. This will also be upgraded as time goes on. Currently, a team from the Leiden University of 8 persons headed by Dr. Corinne Hoffman. They will be arriving here hopefully by the 24th of January, that's this Sunday, for a period of about 2 weeks to commence the reconstruction of at least 2 of these houses using the original markings, the original post holes that were found on the site. We will be constructing them along with the Leiden University and members of the North Windward Tourism Association, the Fancy chapter, in assistance with the Ministry Ministry of Agriculture, the Forestry Division, and other stakeholders. They will be also assisting. And after such, we will take on the task of constructing more huts on the site.
Dance Officer Maxine Brown says the Department of Culture, in collaboration with the National Cultural Foundation, will also be hosting the National Schools Garifuna Festival this year under the theme Children of Châteauye. She says the festival aims at sensitizing students about their unique heritage.
Some of the objectives of this program include: 1. Teach our Garifuna heritage to our students, and that's a very important element. Make learning history fun and exciting. We want to celebrate our heritage. We want to showcase, of course, the talents of the students. We want to allow our students to experience and or become aware of our Garifuna cultural heritage. And of course, we want to enhance the Heritage Month. So the more activities we add, the better. We like to look good. And of course, we want to create national pride, our cultural heritage.
As cooperatives, the realization of the responsibility in managing the credit union movement is tremendous. So says President of the SVG Cooperative League Limited, Kelvin Pompey, at a meeting of the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions, the CCCU, board regulators and cooperative sector leaders earlier today. As part of the program of the visit by members of the board of directors of the CCCU to SVG, Pompey said that the credit union movement continues to provide access to credit and savings to their members, which in turn aids in economic development.
Because it is these credit unions, this collective of thousands of persons pooling their monies, that is contributing to making a significant difference in the lives of the members of the different credit unions and these different islands. And so by no way can we underestimate, or should we underestimate, our value and our contribution to the development of our respective countries, because the credit union movement comes in, I think, very, very close behind the public sector, the government, and the private sector. I think up third, in a very close third, is the credit union sector in terms of its contribution to the social and economic development of our island.
Applauding the credit union movement in SVG, President of the CCCU, Aaron Moses, said that the visit allows for the board of directors to effectively interact with not only cooperative leaders and regulators, but also major stakeholders for greater development of the cooperative sector.
We utilize this opportunity to interact with our constituents, to discuss with you pertinent issues that we think are germane to the growth and development of the movement across the region, to listen to your concerns, to share best practices, because we hope to learn from you today. But most importantly, to touch base with critical stakeholders that can influence and shape what we do. And so, in a few minutes, we hope to meet with a comrade who I understand is extremely happy these days. We hope to do some visits to some of the credit unions around town, unannounced, utilizing our privileges. But sometimes it's best to do things that way. The richness of your information, you know, is always good.
Moses commended the work of the regional cooperatives, which have seen it wise to peruse an efficient customer drive service. He warned that there is a multitude of options which may influence a customer's choice when contemplating which financial institution is better to do business with. He therefore urged the gathering to seek ways of enhancing customer education and build greater relationships between the cooperatives and communities.
What are the benefits of this movement? What makes us unique? That we are indeed a family. That's the reason, for instance, why most or many of our members still are not doing most of their business within the credit union movement. If we're so great, if we're so nice, we pay the best returns, why is it that people are not doing more business with us? That means, brothers and sisters, we still have a lot of work to do. We have to recapture what I always say, the evangelistic fervor of our forefathers, who were so enthused and excited about this good news They made sure that every member of our community heard about it. We need to recapture those approaches.
The SVG Chamber of Industry and Commerce held its 87th annual general meeting today at French's House, where a new executive and council were elected to serve for the period 2016 to 2018. The new executive is comprised of President Wayne Hull, Country Manager of Lime, Senior Vice President Philippa Graves, Export Promotions and Marketing Manager of St. Vincent Distillers, and Vice President of Finance and Administration, Vanessa D'Souza, General Manager of Massey Stores. The outgoing president is Christine Da Silva, Manager of Quick Print. Lime Fashion Caribbean returns on February 13, 2016 at the SVG Community College. After a short postponement due to heightened election activities in November, image modeling agency, the organizer of Lime Fashion Caribbean, is back on schedule for hosting the event in February. The show will feature over 15 of the region's best designers representing Barbados, British Virgin Islands, Jamaica, Trinidad, and host country St. Vincent and the Grenadines. With the additional planning time, the agency has added an extra day to the event in the form of the Fashion Caribbean Trunk Show, which will be held on the following day, Valentine's Day, at the Grenadine House Hotel. According to the organizers, this event will be a fusion of fashion, food, and music, and will be an opportunity for the general public to mix and mingle with all the Fashion Caribbean designers and see the collections up close and personal.